Hi everyone, it's Lawrence here, Road Mosaic Workshops, and what we're going to do now is start going over the rules in Road Mosaics. If you've seen the other lives, these are the 8 rules that you always see used in Roman mosaics, and they are in every Roman mosaic across the Roman world. So there's 8. We've discussed about sort of the way that I group them up. And this is the number 1 of 1, 2, which is making a neat mosaic. Make a neat mosaic, you can read it, you can improve on it there. So this one is about size. Now, generally the rule, you tend to keep the size consistent. So usually you'll have an average size of about 10 mil, which is, I think, 3/8 of an inch, something like that. So if it's 10 mil, you can go a little bit either side, so between 8 and 12 mil on average. Again, I always say just go and have a look at the originals and see if you can see this in use. The photos that I've got here are taken from the commission that's been going on. These just very small areas of it, and he's going to illustrate using irregular cut tesserae. So these are all hand cut tesserae, so they're going to be more irregular, but obviously a lot of people you will be using machine cut tesserae, so they're all exactly the same size. So things like not using tesserae which are too large don't tend to, you won't tend to come across that. It won't be a problem for you, but just sort of bear with me on this and you'll see the point. So we have a working size. You can go either side of your working size, so it can be a little bit larger, a little bit smaller, but it needs to keep within the average size. You don't want too many inconsistencies. Now, in Roman mosaics, you will see some variation in sectors in certain parts of a mosaic, but I'll go through that in another one. So let's get this onto a larger screen. Okay, here's the first one. Is it the first one? Have I got this the right way around? Yep. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, so obviously a fairly obvious here. We're looking at the we're looking at the reverse section. So this mosaic is being done face down onto paper. So obviously sometimes some of these, they will have a larger area on the bottom that we can't see, but you can see here, if you look at the triangles here, this one, and here, this one, and you can see this. If you've got something that's too small, you're basically using fragments, and the thing is you're wasting your time because nobody's going to see it, nobody's going to notice it. So it's something I see a lot. People have small bits on their work area, and they think, oh, well, I'll use that bit up there, I'll stick that in there. But see here, this triangle here, this white triangle shape, that's fine. It's a decent enough size. This is just too small, and this again is too small. And it's not just the actual size, but it's the tesserae that is next to it, the contrast with it that makes it stand out so much. Let's go to another one. Now here, again, we were looking at the white tesserae and looking at these rectangle shapes, these sort of half cuts, but less than half cuts. Here, right in the center of the picture, and down here at the bottom left. Going back to what I said just now, it is not so much just the size, but also look at the size of the tesserae next to it. It's the contrast which makes that stand out so much. So this to get over this would have been better off is to cut. That's what we did, was cut this one, this center square tesserae, cut it a little bit smaller. That means you've got a larger piece put in there. Same again with this, cut the square tesserae a little bit smaller, then the smaller one, you can chuck that out and get something a little bit bigger. This, right, now back on the white tesserae again. So going a little bit small, they've gone into, with one of the rules, convergence, so 2 lines going into one. Now, the size of this triangle in comparison to the ones next to it there. Now, also with this, if you look at this triangle, this white triangle shape, you look at, it's a right angle triangle there, the bottom left of that shape, there's your right angle. Now, I haven't really got anything to do. If you flip that over, that would actually fit better in that space. So hopefully you can just sort of imagine that. I will do some drawing ones for this. But now get back up to the left here, and you can see this. Literally, it's double the size of these other Tesserae. Now, also with this one, you have, if you think back to one of the previous lives where I went over the shapes that you cut, you can see here, this is a sort of mix of it. This is a triangle and a square stuck together. So definitely that you'd have wanted to have those cut. You would have had those separate, because it's that system where you go through, you have square, and then you'll half cut, keystone or triangle. Basically, this shouldn't have gone in. This material, both these shapes shouldn't really have gone in to be available to the mosaicists. So they wouldn't have used it if it wasn't there. But it is just this, just too large in comparison to the others, too large on its own. And also with this one, you've got this strange sort of shape. I think this is, yep, this is the last one. Now, I think it's the one we've just been on, but flipped round from the other side. So another view there. And yep, same thing that I say. If you imagine with this triangle in the center, if you flipped it over, so the surface that we're looking at was on the bottom, then that actually would fit better into there. So what it is so much is you have your working size. You can go a little bit either side of that. Again, go and get a look at the original, get a section of that, and measure some of them. Have a look and see that sort of variance in there. You're going to get some variation, but not over too much. Fragments, pieces that are too small, they just disappear. You're not going to notice them, so you're wasting your time putting them in. And ones that are too large, they're the sorts of things that draw in your eye. When I go in and check work, it's one of the first things that will draw my eye in, where you have Tesserae that are too big, that are way over the working size. If you're using hand cut material, when you start, get a ruler or cut a Tesserae that you know is the exact size, the exact of your working size, and keep that handy, and then just put it near to your others and have a look and see. Just again, you want to get rid of these aids as soon as you can, but just so you can see whether the Tesserae are going too large, because that is the one that's going to draw the eye. Right, thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one.